Hey guys, it's Dr. Gnarl again at Restore Health Center. And the other day I was walking through a supermarket and I saw that they had a lot of the back to school supplies out. And one of them was they had a box of these wooden rulers. And I believe we all had to carry one of these at one time or another. And two thoughts came into my mind. The first thought was I remember as a child how when you'd go to the store with your mom and then you'd see all the back to school supplies out, and it was just like the most depressing thing ever because that meant summer was coming to an end. The second thought that came to my mind as I looked at these rulers, it was I wonder how people measure their health. So that'd be the question I'd ask you, is how do you measure your health? And if I was to walk out of my office and go on the street or at the mall or at the grocery store, and if I was to kind of do a poll of people and ask them, excuse me, how do you measure your health? The majority of the time, what do you think people would say? Well, the majority of the time, people are going to say that they measure their health by how they feel. If I feel good, I'm healthy. If I feel bad, then now I've got a problem. And the problem with that is just like my father, who in May of 2006 was diagnosed with stage 3 prostate cancer. And I remember going to that appointment with him whenever he got diagnosed, and I remember later on that evening as we were kind of discussing what the doctor had said, he said, but you know, son, I don't understand because I never had any of the symptoms. I didn't have problems emptying my bladder. I never had any of the symptoms of a prostate problem. I don't feel bad in any way. And I said, well, Dad, I've been telling you this for years. I've been telling everybody that would listen for years. You can't judge your health on how you feel. For example, I'll ask you guys another question. Can heart disease, cancer, diabetes, organ failure, can that grow in your body and you not know it? Absolutely it can. We all know somebody that has high blood pressure. You know, back in the day, they even have what they called the widow maker. Somebody just with no symptoms whatsoever just drops dead of a massive heart attack. My dad with cancer. You know, people are blown away when they go to the doctor and they say, well, you're now diabetic. You can have a fatal disease growing in your body and not have one single symptom. So doesn't it now make sense that one of the worst things that you could do is to sit there and just live your life until you get a symptom? You wouldn't treat your car that way. You wouldn't just drive your car and wait for the oil light to go off and then go, well, it's time to go get an oil change. You would never do that. You wouldn't drive your car until the check engine light goes off and go, guess it's now the time to do some routine maintenance. You would never do that. But you're doing that to your body. You know, in fact, the World Health Organization, they stated that health is the optimal functioning of your body mentally, physically, socially, spiritually, and look here, not merely the absence of sickness or disease, or in other words, if I paraphrase, and not how you feel. So you've got the brightest minds on the planet telling you that, hey, it's not based on how you feel, it's how your body is functioning. So if I asked you, how do you know how well your body is functioning? Well, some folks would say, well, I guess it depends on these other measures of health. You know, it would depend on what's my blood pressure, what's my cholesterol ratio, how's my A1C for diabetes, how's my heart functioning by doing an EKG, or like in my dad's case, waiting until the PSA score got high. The problem is these do not measure how well your body's functioning. These are all just warning lights that these organs are malfunctioning. So my question is this: can we take medication to cover up our blood pressure and lower the blood pressure? Absolutely we can. Can you take a medication to lower your cholesterol? Absolutely. Can we take medication or shots to get our blood sugars balanced? Yep. Again, with the heart, we can do things. We can put a pacemaker in. And there's drugs now out or even surgeries for a bad prostate. But here's the question. If I take your heart medications away, cholesterol, diabetes, prostate medication, if I take those away from you, what do you still have? You still got the heart problem, cholesterol problem, and you still got the diabetes problem, etc. So understand that even though now you're not waiting until you feel something, now you've actually done a test, and now the test came back bad, and even though you're still addressing the bad test, you're not really addressing the cause of the problem. So this would be like if a house is on fire and all you're trying to do is address the smoke, but you're not going to the cause of the smoke, which is the fire. But with the World Health Organization, they hinted at it right here when they said it's about optimal functioning of your body. So the question is now, well, what controls all the function of your body? What controls everything? What's the one organ you can't live without? Well, there's a bunch, but what's the one organ which controls the others? Well, this poster is the key right here. Your brain controls every single part of your body. If I separate your body from your brain, everything stops immediately. If I go cut cut the nerve going to your pancreas, it stops. If I cut the nerve to your liver, it stops. If I cut the nerve to your kidneys, they stop immediately. It's not a belief, it is a fact. But what if I don't cut the nerve? What if I put pressure on the nerve, and now I'm interfering with the flow of communication from the brain to the body? Now the organs can't function properly. They now malfunction, and leftover time leads to sickness, disease, early death. So everything I've been talking about, how do you measure your health? There's only two measurements that we can do that will let us know how well your nervous system is functioning, which by now, not just based on what I'm saying, based off what the World Health Organization, based off the anatomical laws of how your body's designed to function, the number one thing that you need to test, now these are important, but the number one system that needs to be checked is your nervous system, and there's two tests that we can do to determine how well your nervous system is functioning. A surface EMG, where we can actually measure how well the nerves are functioning as they exit the spine. And number two is a set of x-rays to determine how is the structure of your spine. Is your spine in normal alignment or is it misaligned? Keep in mind, it only takes about 2 millimeters, can't even do it, to choke a nerve off by 40%. How many slips, falls, bangs, booms here in Southwest Florida out in the water and a big wave comes and knocks you over? How many times have you just bumped your head getting into the car? How many times have you woken up from your night's sleep with a crick in your neck? How many times in your life do you think you've shifted your spine at 2 millimeters to choke a nerve off? So whether you've got a problem and you know you've got a problem, or you think you don't have a problem because you feel good, the only true way to assess and analyze and measure your health is with an exam and x-rays if necessary. And what we're doing right now in our office is we're doing a backpack drive. If you bring a backpack filled with supplies, papers, binders, pens, pencils, rulers, okay, folders, binders, whatever, anything you can think of. If you'll bring a backpack into our office, the Salvation Army is going to pick those up and give them to those people in our community that need them. You know, the national average right now is $122 that a family spends per child to get them just the school supplies, $122. And we want to do our part to help out. So if you're sick and suffering, if you know you're far from health, if you know that you've been trapped into this definition of health, if this all makes sense, everything I talked about, if you want to see how well your nervous system is measuring, then all you have to do is get a backpack, fill it up. You can actually call the Salvation Army here in Bonita Springs, ask them what supplies you need, fill it up, or you can just go through the line and just fill it up a little bit with whatever you want. Okay? Bring that to the office and you'll get the consultation, exam, x-rays if necessary. But you got to do that by August the 7th. August the 7th. All right? So guys, again, measure your health properly and help us help our community and help you help yourself. Bring a backpack in for the kids locally, and we'll get you a set of exam and x-rays if necessary, just for a backpack. Guys, I appreciate it, and I'll see you next time.